Hi, today we are going to learn some just basic stitches in knitting so that you can start knitting yourself. We're going to learn about how to create a slip knot, how to cast on, and then finally we are going to learn how to knit. Okay, the slip knot. The first thing you're going to do is you have your yarn, and this is my skein. I am going to pull about 1.5 yards. And each project is different depending on how much you need to cast on. Once I get that determine how much I want to pull out, I take my 2 fingers and I wrap around it and I just let my yarn hang behind it. Now I take my bottom finger out and I can see my yarn hanging there, and I just grab it and I pull it. And that is my slip knot. Let's do that again. Wrap it around my 2 fingers, let it hang down, take my 1 finger out, and I can see it hanging there, and I just grab it and I pull on it. Now we're going to talk about casting on. I'm going to cast 10 projects on for this project. So first I'm going to slip my slip knot onto my needle. I want it fairly loose. I want to be able to slide it back and forth, but I want it snug at the same time. This here is my tail of my yarn, I'm going to call it, and this is my working yarn. This is the yarn that actually is coming from the skein itself. Now what I want to do is I want to put it into my palm of my hands like this, and I'm teaching you actually the slingshot method. I put it like that. I take my 2 bottom fingers and I close it on top to give it a little bit of tension, and then I put my pointer and my thumb into that hole. And then I pull it down, and you can see now why it's called the slingshot method. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in front of my thumb, then I'm going to grab the yarn that is in front of my forefinger, drop the yarn from my thumb, and pull on it, and then I actually pull on that big loop, and then it tightens it up. Okay, so I grab my thumb, my forefinger, and there we go. In front of my thumb, my forefinger, and then I take my thumb out, pull on that yarn, thumb, forefinger, take my thumb out, thumb, forefinger, thumb, and my forefinger, and a thumb and the forefinger. And each time I release the yarn with my thumb, but then I stick my thumb back in that hole and snug it up. And let's see if we have 10. So this is my slip knot that we put on my needle originally, so that counts as 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11 stitches, so I'm just going to slip off that 1. I don't need that. Okay, then once I get my stitches onto my needle, I put it into my left hand. Now I take my extra needle and I put that in my right hand, and I always make sure I'm working with the working yarn, again, that's coming from my skein. I kind of slide my stitches towards the top of my needle, and I kind of learn to hold on to them so they don't slide off. I stick my needle into my hole, or into my cast on stitch, and I always have my needle go behind my needle then itself, and I make sure I grab my working yarn, and I just grab it and I just slide it between them and I pull it through, and there it is. And then I always pull off that stitch off this needle, my original needle. I put it into that hole. That's getting kind of loose there. And put it there, pull it through, put it into the stitch, wrap it around, and then you can see that my tips are always really close together. They just touch each other. So then I don't lose my stitches. And once I pull that through, I can take that stitch off that needle. And I go around, and I am just holding the yarn like this in my hand. This is my working yarn, and I always stitch it through and pull it between them and pull it over and then pull it off. Put it into the stitch, put it behind my needle, wrap it around, pull it over, and my needles are going right like that, and then I just pull it off. Put it into the stitch, wrap it around, pull it through, and pull it off. Put it into the stitch, wrap it around, pull it through, and pull it off. Here's my last stitch. Now I can always tell if I dropped a stitch or if I gained a stitch, and I'm just going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So everything's correct. Okay, so now I'm just going to put my work into my left hand again, and I'm going to go into my stitch, pull it through, pull it through, I wrap it around and pull it through, and then I pull it off. Wrap it around, pull it through, and pull it off. Wrap it around, pull it through, and pull it off. Wrap it around, pull it through, and then pull it off. As I'm working on this, I'm going to show you one more time. We are getting to the end of our row. This is called a row when I have knitted from one side to the other. Now I have completed 2 rows. What we are doing right now is actually, it is called knitting. And when you look at instruction books, you're going to just see the K. And that's what we're doing. Okay, so I'm going to just start over again. Pull it through, put it into the hole or into the stitch, wrap it around, pull it through, and then pull it off. Put it into the hole, wrap it around, pull it through, and pull it off. See how I just put it into each of those stitches and then I pull it off. And that is knitting. I'll get to the end of this row and I will send you on your way. And there's my last stitch. And I can keep on knitting, and this will end up being a long, narrow piece about this wide. Enjoy knitting!